Hey guys, welcome back to Ultimate SNS. I hope you've been having a great day. So, post this up here for you. So, we've been kind of watching what's happening over Ukraine and Russia right now, and they were trying to strike up this grain deal. Sounds like it's not going to happen because of the escalation that's happening. We'll go ahead and post that up here for you guys. What does this mean going into the future? Well, we're already seeing grain prices affecting everything from the feed that you give your animals, which is going to affect the meats that you buy in the store that eat that grain, but also we're seeing where it's going to affect your bread prices. So here locally, unless you go out into town, which is kind of a drive from where we're at, we're seeing $4 or $5 for a loaf of bread. That's insane. So definitely think about maybe trying to grow stuff for your own, or just buying flour to make your own bread. So those are some great options that are out there. One of the things you need to be aware of with the food scarcity that's already out there, and now we're seeing that these supplies are going to start dwindling, and we're seeing these prices come up from inflation. Expect them to continue to go up because, one, the Fed's already talking about bringing up the inflation rate by increasing the interests. Okay, and they think that's going to combat it down, but historically that's never happened. It just makes the prices that much higher. Also, something you need to be aware of is we're going to post this here for you. The diesel prices are going to start going up because the supplier for the U.S. is basically saying, hey, we don't have as much to send you. You're not going to receive as much. So you're going to start seeing a lot of diesel shortages across the country, which I think we've been seeing that. But expect those prices to really start to climb since they've released this information out there to you. And you might be wondering, what is it that we can do to, prepare for what's coming? Because you need to understand something. This isn't going away. This isn't something that's going just overnight, just disappear and dissipate. It's going to continue to get worse, especially with the improper leadership we have, not just in this country, but worldwide. You can call it whatever you want to, redistribution, wealth, the Great Reset, whatever. But that's what we're seeing happen. That's what we're seeing take place. People have been warning about it for a while now that it's happening. People are like, well, they're not saying that on the news. Well, why would they tell you that on the media when it's controlled by the governments of the world? You need to understand that those governments themselves, they don't even control themselves anymore. It's the lobbyists and things that are controlling those governments, your large businesses and stuff. So when you finally come to that realization in life, what do? Well, if you've been stocking food, that's great because it's going to make you where you're a little more prepared for these prices as they come in here in the future. But also something you need to look at too is growing your own food and raising your own food. So this evening, we ended up having to deal with another pest trying to get into a chicken coop, and took that and dispatched and dealt with all that mess. So that's something you have to be aware of, something you need to be vigilant on. If you see stuff moving around out there in the early mornings, chances are they're kind of scoping it out. They're going to come back toward the late evenings, and you need to keep your eye on the situation and watch what's happening around. Like if you've got chickens, do you have where it looks like something has been trying to dig into the coop at some point? Well, if it's already started, chances are it's going to come back and it's going to continue digging, which is what ended up happening this evening up here the front part of the garden. So we've been moving our chicks out there where they're basically just kind of fertilizing the ground, and we end up with a very large possum that actually was digging its way in. And I just happened to come back out to check. I check on it periodically, and sure enough, he's up inside the coop. The chickens did have their area where they can get in, but the narrow opening where the chicks can get in kept that thing out, was able to get it out of there. So that really helps. Always be planning ahead. What is it that you can do to protect your investments and protect those food sources, guys? But again, man, get as much food as you can, because even with the prices coming up, if you've got extra money, you need to be looking at doing that, especially with the holidays coming up. I know everyone wants to buy, their family the gifts that they're wanting, but you need to look at what it is that you're going to need here in the next few months as these prices continue to increase and the food supplies continue to decrease. It's a very it's a very hard reality to face, but it's there and you have to face it. So everyone have a wonderful day.